Hello, this is Molly Wilson, and you are listening to The Mindful Show. On today's show, we are talking about relationships. If you knew me 2 or 3 years ago and told me that I would be talking about relationships, I would have laughed in your face. I tend to have insignificant relationships, maybe a little aloof in them. I also had quite a avoidance attachment style. And really, I realized a lot of it was just me being protective of my time and energy. However, about a year ago or so, I ended up meeting somebody and starting a new relationship. And since that, it's been going great and I've learned a lot. And one of the things I wanted to address today is this concept about enoughness. And of course, yourself, feeling enough as yourself. That is so important when entering into a relationship. However, when you are actively involved in a relationship and you and your partner, at first it might be seeming like, oh my God, everything's amazing, everything's great, we're so compatible, blah, blah, blah. As you get to know each other, as you grow and evolve, you might start to notice that, there are certain things that might not be as perfect as you thought, or there are certain things that you wish were different, or maybe you just don't have that novelty or that honeymoon feeling as much anymore. First of all, I want to say that's completely normal. Of course, when we first meet somebody, we're so excited. We get that dopamine hit. Our whole life we see in more vibrant colors. Everything's just like exciting and we're so happy and we might have met the one. And then over time, as we get to know them, as things kind of get more natural, more comfortable, things feel less exciting, right? That's the novelty piece of being in love that a lot of people get caught up into chasing. But what I've learned and what I'm talking about is being enough, like having enough components of a relationship to keep it healthy, to keep it thriving, to keep it dynamic and flexible. So I came to this conclusion because in my relationship, there were certain points and things that again, I wish my partner was just slightly different in this way because I'm like that and I want him to be just like me, or I want him to do things a certain way so that I don't have to worry. And I was coming up with these like micro excuses in a way, to maybe, I'm not even sure what it was, but to just understand the missing pieces. However, when I took that step back and I really looked at how we are and how I feel in general, I realized like those little micro incongruencies like don't make a big difference. What matters is that the rest of the relationship, the rest of our time together is enough. And it comes like I would think about enough in different circumstances, right? So like not everything is going to be perfect and ideal in our life. Like having that expectation is just silly. We're going to get disappointed. We're going to be just let down, and we are going to feel like isolated and alone because what we want isn't out there. So I just want to encourage you, if you're like going through this relationship experience, or you're evaluating your own self or approaching a new relationship, just consider like what is enough for you to feel content, to feel happy, and to feel secure. Because I think oftentimes we try to find that ideal person, make our checklist of who we want to attract and manifest. And we end up like overlooking highly qualified people and like good connections because they might not meet a few of our boxes. And for me, I absolutely adore my partner. But there are certain things that I'm like, it would be nice if this was a little different. But I've come to realize again, like that's an expectation I can't have for someone because it's in my brain. And their lens, their perspective of life and how they operate is it's different. And I have to be accepting of that. And looking at a relationship as a whole, you want to ask yourself like those basic things. Is it providing me my needs of safety, security, love, and value and appreciation, contribution, all of those like basic needs? Do I feel seen? Do I feel heard? Do I feel comfortable talking about like taboo topics or things that make me feel insecure about them to this person? And then, is the general energy, is our future, are we aligned? Are we aligned? Is it flowing in a good direction? And if your lifestyles are different, that's a whole new like can of worms to open. And you really want to make sure, that you're on the same page with things, because if you're not, that's just going to create some confusion. And so going back to this concept of being enough, you want to ask yourself, is it enough? Is it enough for you to feel happy? And mine is, and I love it because we have some space. We're not like all up in each other's business. As I told you, I'm a little bit avoidant attachment style. That would completely turn me off. We have some space and we overlap when we can, and we share similar interests. We have different opinions on things. He's a few years older than me, so even on like our childhood memories and our, the things that we can draw upon from our past and culturally or generationally are a little different. But that's fun. Like that variety is the polarity we need to be attracted to each other, truthfully. And so I want to challenge you, if you are in a relationship or entering a new one, or maybe feeling a little confused about your current situation, I want you to look at the enoughness, right? So like, what is enough? Like, what are those non-negotiables? And also, if you're having a hard time selecting those or finding that person, I just want to encourage you also to be very open-minded. Go for the people or date people, or kind of let yourself experience different personalities, different styles, and you might learn something. And it might not be the forever person you end up spending your life with or marrying or whatever your goal is, but you might learn a way to accept and a way to connect that you can apply in your future relationship. So hear me, I'm laughing, but a lot of my past relationships and a lot of my casual intimacy, or I guess that sounds so bad. I'm not editing this, guys, because this is funny. My casual connections, I guess, they've all taught me things. They've all taught me like what I like and what I don't like, what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate. And that has helped me find the person I'm with now. So I just want to remind you again to dial back and ask yourself, what's enough? This can go beyond just a relationship. This can be around your career or your location, your apartment, your house, your job, whatever it is that you're doing. Is it enough? Is it enough for you to live the life that you want? And for me, I hope this isn't sounding bad, but for me, my relationship is enough. It's covering like my boxes, and it's letting me be me, letting me still have the autonomy, the creativity, and the entrepreneurial life that I dream of, and still having my space and freedom, but also still having a supportive partner who's willing to go on adventures to push me outside my comfort zone and to also just chill sometimes. And that's what I need. So it's so crazy because before I met my current partner, I really didn't like know what I wanted in a relationship. I mean, I had ideas and I kind of scripted a bit, but it was still like, I was still kind of unclear, like maybe I want that. I don't really know. Putting yourself out there is how you learn. And that's exactly what I did. I put myself out there, kind of not really knowing what would happen. And all of a sudden, like when we connected, it was a really, really beautiful experience. And I guess just like having that as an example for me, but hopefully for other people, that like you don't have to be a perfect pair to be happy together, or to care for each other, to want to be together. You don't have to have all of the same goals, all of the same habits, all of the same philosophies. You just need to have enough. And if the rest of everything else is like fluid and flexible and you're good doing your own thing and having your space, like that might just be perfect and amazing for you. So that is my reflection from one of my reflections, I'll say, from my relationship and the last year or so. And I'm just really, really sinking into that because I think a lot of us struggle with perfectionism. A lot of us struggle with the ideal, we're seeing all the time on media. I don't need to review this, but our social media and our world basically tells us that everything needs to be perfect, and it doesn't. Okay. Reality is like shit's not always pretty all the time. Things aren't always perfect. But if you can accept something and know it's enough for you, then that's it. That's beautiful. That's amazing. So that's my word, my words of wisdom. A lot of words, I guess, but the overall concept is having enoughness, being enough, and believing in enough. And I hope that's valuable for you, really, truly. So let me know in the comments. Share this with someone who might need to hear this. I hope you listen in the next episode.